Welcome back to Ageless Mind and Body. I'm Dr. John Miller, a board-certified expert in sexual health and gynecology with over 20 years of experience helping couples navigate intimacy at every stage of life. Today, we're diving into a topic that's often whispered about but rarely discussed openly: anal sex among middle-aged and older couples. As surprising as it may seem, this question comes up more often than you'd think, especially from couples in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, who are looking to rediscover connection and explore new dimensions of intimacy. But before anyone makes a decision in the bedroom, it's crucial to understand what's safe, what's risky, and what your body is truly ready for. Anal intercourse is not just another position. It involves real anatomical and health considerations that many don't know until it's too late. This video isn't about judgment. It's about facts, safety, consent, and communication. Because whether you're curious, hesitant, or already considering it, you deserve clear, honest answers. So let's talk openly. Let's replace shame with knowledge and help you and your partner make informed, confident choices. As we reach middle age, so many things in life begin to shift our bodies, our relationships, and even the way we experience intimacy. One topic that's come up more and more among older couples is anal sex. At first, it might sound surprising, even a little uncomfortable to talk about. But for many couples in their 50s or 60s, it's actually something they've started to wonder about or even quietly explore. And the reasons behind that curiosity are more common than you might think. For many women, menopause brings a host of physical changes. One of the most noticeable is the loss of natural vaginal lubrication. What used to feel smooth and comfortable may now feel dry tight or even painful during intercourse. This can create not just physical discomfort, but emotional frustration too. Women often say they still love their husbands deeply and want that closeness, but their bodies just don't respond the same way. It's heartbreaking to want connection and yet feel pain when trying to be intimate. In this space of change, some husbands gently suggest trying something different, something they believe might be less painful or maybe just new. For them, backdoor intimacy might seem like a harmless alternative. After all, there's no risk of pregnancy anymore. They might have heard about it in conversations, seen it in adult films, or read about it online. It gets portrayed as something daring, adventurous, or a way to spice things up after years of routine. And to be fair, it's not just husbands bringing it up. Some women feel curious too. They wonder, what would it feel like? Or is this something couples our age actually do? After decades of marriage and raising children, many couples find themselves rediscovering their relationship in new ways. With the kids grown and life a bit quieter, there's more room to focus on each other again. That desire to reconnect, to feel close and even a little playful, can open the door to exploring new types of intimacy. But here's the important thing. Curiosity isn't the same as readiness. Just because something seems exciting or different doesn't mean it's right for everyone, or that it's safe to try without the right knowledge and care. The influence of movies, or the idea that everyone's doing it, can create pressure or unrealistic expectations. In real life, our bodies have limits, especially as we age. And emotional comfort matters just as much as physical readiness. So, when couples consider trying anal intercourse, it often comes from a very real place, a desire to stay close, to adapt, and to keep their relationship vibrant. There's nothing wrong with wanting to explore, but it should always come from a place of mutual understanding, open conversation, and plenty of care. No one should ever feel forced, ashamed, or in pain. When done with respect and preparation, intimacy can still be meaningful and safe, no matter how old we are. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when couples consider trying anal sex: what's actually happening to the body and the real risks involved. First and foremost, it's important to understand that the anus is not designed for sexual activity the same way the vagina is. The vagina has natural lubrication and is made to stretch during intimacy. That's part of its biological design. It's meant to accommodate touch movement, even childbirth. The anus, on the other hand, doesn't have that same ability. It doesn't produce its own lubrication, and it doesn't stretch comfortably in the same way. That alone can make any type of penetration uncomfortable or even painful without the proper care. Beyond that, the tissues around the anus are quite delicate. The wall is thin and filled with tiny blood vessels. That means it's easier to tear or damage, even with just a small mistake. Being too quick, not using enough lubricant, or not relaxing enough can all lead to cuts or internal irritation. And because the area is full of bacteria, naturally occurring ones that we all have in our intestines, a small tear becomes a potential gateway for infection. It's not about being unclean. It's simply how the body works. These bacteria are supposed to stay in the digestive system, but during backdoor intimacy, they can enter the bloodstream or even make their way into other sensitive areas, like the urinary tract. That's when problems start to arise. Some people experience sharp pain, itching, or burning sensations after trying it just once. Others might notice bleeding diarrhea or feel like something just doesn't feel right inside. These aren't just minor side effects, they're your body's way of saying something's wrong. Unfortunately, many people feel too embarrassed to talk about it, so they suffer quietly. What's even more concerning is that repeated or rough backdoor intimacy can weaken the muscles around the anus, specifically the sphincter. That's the muscle responsible for controlling your bowel movements. If it gets stretched or damaged too much, it can lead to a loss of control, meaning you might leak gas or even stool without meaning to. It often starts small, just a bit of spotting or trouble holding it in when you laugh or sneeze. But over time it can get worse, and for many older adults, this becomes an incredibly distressing and shameful issue they hide from everyone, even their doctors. That's why it's so important to understand that what looks effortless in adult films or sounds harmless in conversations may come with real consequences in everyday life. These actors are trained, rehearsed, and edited. In real life, things don't go so smoothly unless you really know what you're doing, and even then, there's no guarantee. So if you or your partner are thinking about trying something new, it's not about saying yes or no. It's about being informed, prepared, and respectful of your body's limits. Because your comfort, safety, and well-being should always come first. When it comes to intimacy, it's not just about the physical part. Our emotions play an even bigger role, especially as we get older. For many women, the idea of trying something new like anal sex doesn't just bring up concerns about pain or safety, but also stirs up deep emotional reactions. Some women go along with it, not because they truly want to, but because they feel they should for the sake of their husband, their marriage, or just to avoid conflict. It often starts with a suggestion, maybe made lightly, or even with good intentions, like, "Why don't we try something different?" But deep down, some women feel confused, unsure, or even hurt. They may wonder, "Am I not enough anymore? Why does he want something else now?" These thoughts can leave emotional bruises that don't show on the outside, but hurt just as much as any physical pain. In some cases, the woman agrees, even though she feels uncomfortable believing it's just part of being a good partner. She tells herself, "It'll just be once," or "Maybe I'm just being old-fashioned." But the truth is, when something doesn't feel right in your heart, it matters. Over time, that discomfort can turn into silent resentment. Some women cry after the experience not because of the pain, but because they feel like they gave up a part of themselves. Others carry a quiet sadness, feeling like their own needs or boundaries weren't respected, and yet they keep these feelings hidden, not wanting to upset their partner or appear weak. What's hard is that these unspoken emotions can slowly chip away at a relationship. When one person suffers in silence, true intimacy begins to fade. The bedroom becomes a place of tension instead of closeness. A simple touch might trigger anxiety instead of affection. And often, the partner who suggested trying something new doesn't even realize what's happening. They might think everything is fine because their partner said yes, without knowing that yes came from pressure, not desire. Consent is more than just agreeing out loud. It means both people feel safe, comfortable, and genuinely willing. If one person says yes but feels fear, dread, or shame inside, that's not real consent. And no matter how long a couple has been married, it's never too late to talk honestly and check in with each other. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do isn't trying something new, but simply asking, "How do you feel about this? Is this something you truly want?" True intimacy isn't about being adventurous just for the sake of it. It's about making sure both people feel seen, heard, and respected. If something doesn't feel right, that's your body and your heart telling you to pause and listen. In a loving relationship, there's always room for honesty, vulnerability, and care. That's what keeps the connection strong, not the things you try, but the love behind every choice you make together. After trying something new in the bedroom, especially something as sensitive as anal sex, it's completely normal to feel a little unsure about what's normal and what's not. Some discomfort right after the experience might not be unusual, but when that discomfort sticks around or starts to feel worse instead of better, it's your body's way of waving a red flag and asking for attention. The biggest mistake many people make, especially as they get older, is brushing it off or thinking, "Maybe I'm just sore, I'll be fine." But sometimes what starts as a small irritation can turn into something much more serious if it's ignored. One of the most important warning signs to look out for is any anal pain that lasts more than a day. A little soreness right after might pass, but if it still hurts to sit, move, or use the bathroom the next day, it could mean that something inside was torn or irritated more than you realized. Bleeding is another big warning sign, especially if you see blood on the toilet paper in your stool or in your underwear. Even just a little bit of blood can signal a tear or internal injury, and those areas are so delicate that they don't always heal easily on their own. Itching, stinging, or a burning sensation is also something to take seriously. Many people assume it's just a mild reaction or maybe even a hygiene issue, but these symptoms could be signs of infection or inflammation, especially if they don't go away after a day or two. And let's not forget about your bowel movements. If you suddenly experience diarrhea, constipation, or even leakage, where it feels like you can't fully control when or how you go, it might be due to damage to the muscles that help you stay regular. These muscles, especially the anal sphincter, are not designed to be stretched repeatedly or forcefully, and once they're weakened, it can be hard to get back that control. Now here's the thing, many people feel too embarrassed to talk about these problems. They try to treat it at home, maybe using over-the-counter creams or antibiotics they had lying around, or worse, asking for advice from non-medical sources. But this kind of self-treatment can actually make the situation worse. The anal area is full of blood vessels and bacteria, so if an injury becomes infected, it can spread quickly and lead to complications that require much more serious treatment later on. That's why it's so important to listen to your body and seek medical help when something feels off. There's no shame in caring for your health. Doctors have heard it all and seen it all. You won't shock them. What matters most is making sure you're okay. So if pain, bleeding, or other strange symptoms linger after trying anal intercourse, don't stay silent. Your comfort and well-being are far more important than a moment of embarrassment. Let a doctor take a look early so you can avoid bigger problems down the road. Before trying anything new in the bedroom, especially something as sensitive as anal sex, it's important to slow down and take the time to prepare both physically and emotionally. A lot of discomfort, pain, or even injuries can be avoided with just a little bit of knowledge and care. This isn't about being perfect or following a long checklist. It's about respecting your body, your partner, and your shared experience. So if you and your partner are thinking about exploring this part of your intimacy, it's a good idea to talk first. Not just about whether or not you want to try it, but also about how you both feel, what your concerns are, and what boundaries you need to feel safe and relaxed. One of the first steps is hygiene, and believe it or not, many people get this part wrong. The goal isn't to scrub everything clean or flush out the area aggressively. In fact, doing too much can actually cause harm. Gentle is the key word here. A warm shower or using saline or mild soap to wash the outside is enough. Never use strong water pressure or insert anything too deep to clean inside the body. Isn't built for that, and it can cause irritation or even tiny tears. The next important step is lubrication. Since the anus doesn't create its own moisture like the vagina does, a good quality lubricant is absolutely necessary. Choose a lubricant that's safe for sensitive areas and use more than you think you need. This helps reduce friction and lowers the risk of pain or tearing. And go slow rushing only increases the chance of injury. The goal is comfort, not performance. Finally, don't underestimate the importance of mental and emotional readiness. If one of you is nervous, uncertain, or not fully on board, it's better to wait. Backdoor intimacy should never be done just to please the other person or get it over with. When both people feel informed, safe, and fully consenting, the experience becomes more about connection and less about risk. In the upcoming section, we'll go over each of these safety and hygiene steps in more detail, so you'll feel confident and prepared if and when you decide the time is right. Remember, your health, your comfort, and your peace of mind always come first. At the end of the day, anal sex isn't something that's inherently wrong or shameful, but it is something that requires real care, mutual consent, and honest communication. It's not about being adventurous for the sake of it or doing something just because someone else suggested it. It's about understanding your body, your partner, and the potential risks involved. Without proper preparation and awareness, what may start as an attempt to connect can quickly turn into a painful experience physically, emotionally, and even in the relationship itself. If you're considering trying it, take the time to learn talk openly with your partner and never ignore your discomfort. Pain, confusion, or emotional hurt should never be part of the experience. You deserve to feel safe, respected, and in control of your own choices. Every couple is different, and there's no one right way to be intimate. What matters is that both people feel good about it. If this video helped you better understand this sensitive topic, please consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to talk openly, honestly, and compassionately about real issues that matter, especially as we age. Your health and happiness matter. So let's continue this journey together. Subscribe now for more support insights and guidance.